Oh my, I'm just loving so much coming to you and starting this second of the three-part video devotional series on FOMO, which is hashtag FOMO, fear of missing out, which is, like I said in the first video, just a gateway drug to fear, which is the ultimate culprit. And the enemy of our lives is this deceiver, and he wants nothing to do with the fruitfulness of our lives. But we are combating that by renewing, refreshing, and recalling Jesus in our minds, that we are allowing him to completely take over our minds. That's really what this study, I want you to walk away from this three-part devotional series feeling equipped to renew your mind. That this is about getting really concentrated at what you're thinking about and the way in which you're thinking about it, and the way in which you think about God's intentions with you. No matter what is going on in your life, no matter what you're waiting on or praying for, I'm praying that in this video devotional, that if you are in a season of waiting, or that God is doing an intrinsic work, I so relate to the fear that the enemy can tempt you to drive into your mind during that season. But I'm actually going to replace that with us again renewing, refreshing, and recalling all the goodness of the Lord. I love, one of my favorite, if you've followed any of my ministry for any length of time, you know that I'm obsessed with Oswald Chambers, actually reading a book about his life now, but followed so much of his writings. And I love this quote that I found whenever I was thinking through this second installment, which is about obtaining a confident peace. That's what we're talking about today, having a confident peace. It says, when God begins his work in us, he does not make a mighty difference in our external lives, but he shifts the center of our confidence. Instead of relying on ourselves and other people, we rely on God and are kept in perfect peace. This is important, and I want you to write this down, and I hope that you're following along with some of the blog installments that I'm adding, going back through and adding lots of scriptures, sending them to you online. But I jotted down this thought, and kind of when I was going through a season where I really needed a confident peace, where I felt like there was nothing that was speaking to that, but I felt God moving and working and doing something in my reality. He was shifting it, like it says, the center of my confidence away from, not that you don't need relationships or you don't need friends or you don't need the fulfillment of the energy of connecting with other people, but that the bedrock and the centrality of your soul and your spirit is centered and situated on Jesus. And I jotted this thought down. The increased value of Jesus's peace does not diminish. It's not like this brand new car that you drive off the lot and the second you roll the tires, it's done. It's like you're never going to get that back. Like you just put concrete on those tires and that's it. No, the second you accept Jesus' atoning, saving grace into your life by faith, and every step you take therein after, you are establishing greater, increasing amounts of the peace of God. That as you are allowing it to infiltrate your mind, and even in my prayer life, I feel like I've said several times, God, I give you passage to peace. I give you passage in my mind, in my heart, in my will, in my emotions. I speak peace. I ask for peace to invade this scenario or this situation or my lack of understanding to it or my need for wisdom over something. That we are understanding this idea that the increased value of Jesus's peace does not diminish, and it is establishing and growing. I had a dear mentor of mine sow this seed into my life a couple years ago. She said, when I was talking through just this idea of confidence and that I don't want to throw off my confidence, Paul says that lots. Don't throw off your confidence. We talked about in the first video how he said, what made you stop? You were running so well. That anything that shifts your confidence away from the security of Christ, it's not of the Lord. That God is his centrality is peace. And she gave this scenario to me. She said, Cari, for the longest time you've been reaching up in your confidence and in your peace. You've been grabbing a hold and you're pulling with your efforts. You're using your own muscles. But God, what his desire and what he's wanting to do is he's quietly resituating and shifting things internally for your confidence to be built on him and nothing less. It's like a tree that has this deep root system that goes down and then it grows up. That as you allow the passage of the Lord to infiltrate all the spaces of your mind, that every time you are tempted to assign fear to something, that you choose peace, because it's a choice. And I am believing that as we read through scriptures, and I'm going to be posting on the blog and sending through the newsletter online, loads of scriptures that can help us with confident peace. And I want you to not just read those, but really assign them to your mind. Assign them to your mind. I'm believing God for you. I'm believing God with you. And I can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye.